Welcome to Toffee TV, proudly backed by Ladbrokes for the season. Just very quickly on that, new customers, if you bet £5, you get £20 in free bets. Click the link below, make sure to use the special promo code, which is Toffee TV, and if you go there, you'll see we've got our own page. It looks amazing. Yeah, don't forget, check the T's and C's and all that good stuff.
Everton to win the league, what odds?
I've no idea. I will check Ladbrokes later.
Set you up for that one.
Yeah, no idea. Got Matt Jones with me again from the Blue Room. Matt, this is a difficult one because obviously on the back of a tough week, Man City and obviously going over to play Hajduk Split, there's a few injuries already.
Yeah.
You're already and obviously we're short in some positions as well. This is probably come at the wrong time because you look after that and you think we've got a nice international break, and it's, I suppose in a way that might decide his selection. If he feels like he can risk a couple, you might know that he's got a couple of weeks and then he can go, oh, they're injured, they can't go on international duty.
That'll be good, wouldn't it? Get James McCarthy on the bench just for that. But no, do you know what though, in some ways the pressure's off, isn't it? Because I think if looking at those first 3 games, if someone had said to you, you're going to get 4 points from them, Stoke at home, could be a little bit nervy, City and Chelsea away.
Never going to win the league with that attitude.
Ladbrokes bet going down the drain there. But you would, I think 4 points, you'd say, that's a pretty decent return, isn't it? Really. 5 points would be better though. Yeah, of course it would, yeah. But I think in some respects that
7 would be even better.
Yeah, of course, yeah. The pressure is off a little bit because you've got four points in the bank. But the thing that I think that we've always said whenever I come here, and it's an international break, is that 2 weeks feels like a long time, doesn't it, if you've lost?
Matt, what you'll find now, doing shows every day, it feels great. You just go, oh.
Well, from a football perspective, yeah. You know, for people watching out there having to go into work every day, and you think, oh god, that game against Tottenham's a long time away, and you know, you're thinking, then you're looking at that game as well, thinking, oh, are we going to be able to get 3 points there? And it's you know, it builds up and builds up. So it is important, but I think we've seen an Everton team in, you know, the last couple of games that are going to be hard to beat, that are working hard, that are forging a bit of an identity as well, and if they can replicate the kind of performance they put in at Manchester City, then I think they've got every chance of getting a point here, or maybe even a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna test the squad, as I mentioned. We've got, you'd imagine Holgate will play, you'd imagine Jagielka will come back into the side as well. Obviously there's no Schneiderlin, so that's a big loss. I mean, do you think he'll persist with Besic again, or do you think he'll go for Tom Davies in there?
No, I think I'll go for Tom Davies in there. I mean, there's certain games you could say Mo Besic might be suited to a bit more than others. I'm not entirely sure this one is, and I think you look at the players they've got in midfield, Bakayoko, Kante. I don't know if Luis is going to carry on playing in there or not, or that was just a one-off thing, but they're big, strong, combative lads. Besic can be that sometimes, but you can just as easily imagine him getting into a physical duel, making a rash tackle, and getting himself on a yellow card early, and then it's hard there. Whereas I think Davis is probably a little bit cuter in the way he goes about things off the ball, and I think crucially as well in this game with Schneiderlin being absent, is he's quite smart on the ball, quite direct, and can move us through those lines pretty quickly. So if we're going to play a counter-attacking game, then he's somebody who thinks more suited to that than Besic.
It always feels like we're missing Schneiderlin for these big games, doesn't it?
Does actually, yeah. Like United away and Liverpool away last season, he was absent for them as well.
And he's such an important player, because we don't, now that we haven't got Gareth Barry, who was probably the closest next to him in terms of how he uses the ball, although I wouldn't have wanted Gareth Barry in this game, having watched what we had last season. It is massively disappointing, and you know, Klassen's touch and go as well. I'd like to have seen him in this game, although if Schneiderlin was playing, he might have gone back to playing Davis as well. So
I think the fact that Davis didn't play on Thursday almost certainly suggests that he's going to play.
And I mean, Garner, let's hope he's fully fit as well. But I think the difference between this game and the City game is, I still feel like, even though Chelsea again they've got the beat in their first game, and I don't think they're going to fall for that again. Having watched them play against Spurs last week, I feel like they're a lot more clinical than Man City are. I think Man City will get into that habit of closing games out, but I always feel like that's been Man City's biggest problem under Pep Guardiola, whereas Chelsea, I think they're just clinical and they're cold, and that's very much like the identity of the club is. And it's not just being under Conte, it's being on Mourinho at his best. Is Chelsea just get the job done. Of course they're still missing, well, they'll probably always be missing Costa The Hazard, I think, is probably still out as well.
He's been called up to the Belgium squad bizarrely and not played.
Yeah, but
Martinez has done a bit of a James McCarthy with him.
Yeah, but I imagine he'll probably still be out, or if he is back.
Conte said today he's going to play in the under-23 game on Friday against Everton. So
if he does play, but it'll be his first game back.
Yeah.
Fabregas still suspended.
I think he'll be back because it was 2 yellow cards, wasn't it, for him?
Oh, was it? Yeah. So he'll probably be back.
I'm not sure about Kale. I'm not sure if this is a one match or
I think it was a 3, wasn't it? With violent conduct, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he'd
be 3. And obviously Morata will have a few more games training. So it's a weird one. We might be catching them at the right time, or we might just be catching them at the wrong time. It's hard to say, but I think we have to go there. And obviously Gylfi Sigurdsson will be better for having another 90 minutes.
Think he'll definitely start?
I think he will, if with the midfield that, you know, not having a Klassen, not having Schneiderlin. I think you need a bit more quality. I think the manager now has it in his mind that he wants to go to places and beat them. I think he feels like he's got the players now. Okay, he hasn't got the centre forward he wants yet, but I think he goes to places thinking, even if it, like on Monday night, even if it looks defensive on paper, I think it was definitely a team he'd set out to beat Man City. It mightn't have been in a traditional, we're going to play glorious football, but it was a way of beating them, and I think he'll do the same against Chelsea. I don't know if it'll be exactly the same as we set up against City, because I think Chelsea, they don't have the flair. They don't have players as good as on the ball. They're more about power and pace and being more effective. But I think he'll definitely set our team out to go and beat them. And I think with someone like Sigurdsson, you've got both sides of that. I think that's why he liked him, why he wanted him so much. He's not a flair player who's just going to be like afraid. No. He's a player that comes alive in these games because he's willing to work hard.
He's not a passenger, is he? At all. And I think that's what struck me against City actually as well. And you know, we've had Lukaku and Barkley, and Rom's fantastic goal scorer. Barkley created a lot of chances last season, but at times in those big games you felt like you were carrying those lads at times through spells in the matches. And you know, I think back to the game against United last season away, when they both had so many chances on the counter-attack to kill the game, and neither of them were really working hard off the ball, and United were just coming, and you're thinking these lads are letting the game pass them by a little bit. And I think with Calvert-Lewin, granted nowhere near as good in front of goal as Lukaku, Rooney maybe not as dynamic as Ross, but probably a little bit cuter and more intelligent on the ball. Those lads give you something in games where you're going to be under the cosh a lot more than them. And I think away from home, that's kind of your way home in those matches, isn't it? Because I think we've seen it at City on Monday, that while we didn't have as many attacking options as them, we didn't have as much flair and creativity as them on the ball, there was a plan in getting through the game. It was give it to Calvert-Lewin, he'll hold it up and he'll bring other lads into the game, and that's ultimately where we got the goal from. And I think you're right. I think while we'll go there and be under pressure for long spells, it seems as though with Pickford in goal, with Keane at the back, potentially of Sigurdsson on set pieces, and Calvert-Lewin run the channels, giving you an outlet, that there's a way home for Everton in this game now that you might not be able to see last season.
Yeah, but it is going to be really important to take the chances if we get them. You know, Man City, we only really had 1 or 2 chances and we took one of them, and we've seen it the other night against Split. We had 3 or 4 chances that, you know, certainly 2 or 3 clear cut chances, and we need to start taking them. And if you go to somewhere like Stamford Bridge, somewhere that you haven't won for 22 years, you've got to be clinical in front of goal. And that's the weird thing. I think, well, it's not weird, we've lost Lukaku, you know, and now we've got the players, I think, to make more chances, but we haven't got someone to finish them. And that's where we have to get better in a team, and that's where ultimately if we're going to beat teams like Manchester United, Man City, Chelsea away from home, it's about taking your chances. Defensively, I think we'll be okay. We look solid, but against quality teams, it's always likely, especially where you're going to concede at least one. And to be fair, over the last few years against Chelsea, we've gone to Chelsea and been very unlucky. Last season we got absolutely battered, but the years before that, you know, the 3-3, losing games in the last minute, losing, you know, those little things, and so we've you know, just got to make sure that if we create chances, we've got to take one or 2 of them.
I feel like we've got a bit closer in getting one of these big wins away from home. I think the Arsenal game at the end of last season, I think you can write off completely, because they were on the beach at that point. But you think that United game where there was something on it, and they should have come out of that with a win, really. Monday against City again. They came close and they should have come out of it. But I think it's so important for this team that they do get over the line in one of these games, because it becomes, you know, it's already a thing, but it becomes more and more of a thing. That this away record, they're not really doing it against the big sides. And I think if they do, say if they went to Chelsea and won 1-0 and dogged it out and got a result, when you go to Anfield, Tottenham, you know, or at the Emirates Stadium later in the season, if you're 1-0 up in a game, the last 10 minutes, those lads can look at each other and say, you know, we've done this before. We know how to get through these sorts of games. Whereas now there's that little nagging doubt in the back of your mind. And against City on Monday, while they played well in long spells, it was in my mind thinking, oh, we've been here before, but we've not quite got over the line.
But then you feel like the whole, when you go to somewhere like when you go to the Etihad, I don't watch a game at City thinking, oh, we're going to get battered here, because I've seen us win there recently. I've seen us win games of football there. We've beaten City comfortable at home.
Sure.
So I just think as a fan and as players, if you've, you know, of course you've got to win those games, and you're right. Once that fear goes, then it shouldn't really come back if you can win those games. And I don't think any of us as fans have worry about Man City, even though they're one of the richest clubs in the world, one of the top dogs in the league. Yeah. We don't give them any respect as fans, and I don't think as a team. And you're right, but I do think under Koeman things have changed. He just hasn't had the quality. I think, you know, we went to Old Trafford to win and nearly won. Last season against Man City, okay, we got battered for long spells, but we had a way of trying to do it, and we nearly did it. And I think he's set up to win. Ultimately, it wasn't the right way, but he set up, and funny enough, it left us really open at the back, and obviously the likes of Pennington and stuff. But I do think he's gone with the mentality of winning these games. It hasn't always been in, oh, we're going to outplay them or outpass them off the pitch. But I do think he does try and win these games. I just think one of the problems for Chelsea is going to be, you know, how are the players recovered? I'm sure they'll fly straight back probably to London, I imagine. You know, are the players recovered, and what have we got injury wise? And that's going to be a big issue, really, I suppose.
Yeah, you'd have to look at it, and even though they went to Tottenham last week, you'd have to say this is probably quite an ideal time to be playing these, isn't it? You know, they've lost.
They weren't brilliant.
No. I spoke to a Chelsea fan in the week for the show, and I was saying, you know, it's a huge result, that, you know, in terms of getting everybody up and stuff. And he tended to disagree. He said he thinks it papered over a lot of cracks, because Tottenham were on top for a long spell. They had to dog it out a little bit, but they got over the line. But he doesn't seem to think it's quite there yet. And listen, it was funny hearing Martin Tyler say Antonio Conte has to patch your team together when he can bring in a £30 million defender, £40 million midfielder, and a £70 million striker. So they have got quality players in there, but if you're gonna be a team that's going to push on and push those top four places, you've got to be looking at these sorts of matches as opportunities where they are bedding in new players. You know, they are lacking a bit of leadership without Matic and without John Terry in the side, and I think it's an opportunity for Everton to go there and do something. Whereas I think if you played them a couple of months down the line, when Morata's settled in, when Bakayoko's up to full fitness, they're going to be a completely different proposition. So it's a chance for us, and I think what starting the season has done pretty well for Everton. I think we've seen this, especially at City, is that there seems to be a lot of cohesion in that team already. I think especially at the back, maybe we're lacking it a bit going forward, and that's where someone like Sigurdsson's going to come in. But I think defensively we can go there and frustrate them for long spells, and that's when you're looking to someone like Rooney or someone like Sigurdsson, maybe even Calvert-Lewin, to pull something out the back for you in an attacking sense.
Well, what you've got with Sigurdsson as well is you've got someone set piece wise, you could open the game up, whether it be straight from a set, you know, if you get a free kick outside the box. So, you know, I imagine what we'll see more often now is players, some of our players getting clever around the box, knowing that you've got someone, they'll see Sigurdsson and saying and be like, lads, get this lad a free kick on the edge of the box, we'll do something from that, and that can open a game up. We've seen that before. It's something we've lacked in the past. It's something when sort of Baines was in his era of scoring a lot of free kicks, where that would open a game up. So that's the thing with Sigurdsson. Even a decent corner with the likes of Keane, you know, like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, even with a Wayne Rooney on the end of it, you know, he can suddenly open a game up like this up. So you're right, it's one of those. Chelsea, I think they benefited last week from playing at Wembley. I think the bigger pitch suited them, because I think that just their type of players they've got, and maybe going back this week to Stamford Bridge, they see if Burnley can. I know they were down to 10 men, but if Burnley can turn them over and seem to cause them problems from a lot of balls into the box, then I think we can do the same. It's just what they've got available to them, and whether those players are where they are, because you know, they love what they've played. They played the Charity Shield, didn't they? And they've played 2 Premier League games, obviously. But this is what 7th game.
Yeah, it is.
Seventh game already. So some of our players will be feeling it, but also some of our players going into the last 10 minutes will be like, "Well, I'm flying here." You know, I'm absolutely flying. I know we talk about tiredness and stuff like that, but I think at this stage of the season, players relish this. They, you know, I suppose it's like if you're fit and you go for a run on a Thursday night and you do 10 miles on a Sunday, you're like, well, I can do 12 today.
Yeah.
You know, and that, I suppose that's the mentality of a Premiership football. Okay, come Christmas, then that's where we'll start seeing it. But I think right now, if a player's fit, he just wants to play and he wants to run and those, as I say, those last 10 minutes, I think that's where we might see a difference. It's just whether we've got the quality.
I think we've got options on the bench as well, haven't we? Now, you know, I think the substitutions on Monday, you can say, was it the right decision or not? But bringing Klassen and Sigurdsson off the bench, you know, it's fun. You know, it's funny because we're saying, City brought on a £45 million player in Bernardo Silva and Danilo, the right back, a £30 million player. Like, well, so did we. Yeah. We brought the same value of the players on. Maybe not Sterling actually, but you know, we have got quality there now. And if Klassen's on the bench, even someone like Morales divides opinion, but if you've got him on the bench, he can come on and nick a goal. It's even a good option. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, these players. The thing I like about, people don't like Morales, and some might think Lennon's good enough. But what I like about those type of players is that in the last 10-15 minutes of games, they know where to come, how to hold the shape, and I think people don't respect that enough. So how many times have you seen a team, might not just be Everton, make a sub and the whole shape of the team just falls to bits? We had it in the first leg against Split when we took Schneiderlin off at half time. The whole shape of the team just disappeared because of one player. I think that's really important. When you've got a proper shape, someone else doesn't have to be doing someone else's job. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really important. And if they're your level now, if Morales is the level of your sub, like your third sub, I think that shows how we've moved on, and I think that's really important in getting through these kind of games.
It's a game I'd love to have Sandro fit for, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to be ready.
He's not going to be ready. I think what they've done is they've assessed them and gone, just leave him till after the internet. Just leave him till I've seen, didn't he have like a rehab boot on?
Yeah, he did,
when he was watching the City game, obviously
panicked a little bit when I seen that.
No, it was like a rehab boot, isn't it? It's like to get the oxygen. Yeah, whatever.
But I think Chelsea's back three is going to be changing a little bit. You know, they've had whether Kale plays or not, Luis might be in midfield, so you feel like there might be a bit unsettled.
I just hope he plays Calvert-Lewin through the middle.
Yeah,
and says, have a go at these.
Because he did a fantastic job against City in that sense, didn't he? Against the back three.
If Kale isn't playing and he's up again, I think he can get change out of them. Physically, I think he can get change, and I think he can run at them as well. So it'll be interesting.
I think another player that's going to be really important is Holgate in this one as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, had a fantastic game against City, but just lost his concentration at crucial moments, and you just hope that's not hanging over him, because I think Chelsea, where they were strongest in that game against Tottenham, was Alonso, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic, getting down the line, finds good space, whips good crosses into the box. So he's going to have to be really alert and focused and cope with him. And I just hope that he's managed to shake off that error, because otherwise he did a fantastic job against a really tricky player in Sane.
Just got to hope that you learn from it, isn't it? Just learn from making those mistakes. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Chelsea, are you worried? Are you looking forward to it? Team selection is going to be very, very interesting. Going to be using the whole of that big squad, but I suppose that's the point in having a big squad, and this is what we're going to face now. We're going to have 3 games in a week, and we're going to have to start moving it around.
It's about time we started putting some of these droughts at some of these grounds to bed as well. Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, it's almost a collective 60 years since we won at any of those grounds, so it's really important. And like I said, getting that shared experience into the squad is absolutely vital if we're going to push on this year.
And to be fair, it's a whole new, apart from a couple of players, it's a whole new squad in the last couple of years. It needs to be, it shouldn't be hanging over too many of those players' heads. And with someone like Wayne Rooney leading them into these games, who's won at these pitches, who's scored at these pitches, then he should be leading them in, going, what are you worried about? And I think that's what you get with Wayne Rooney. I think that's where Matt was completely wrong.
For now, hold my hands up for now.
For always, not for now.
I'll take all the stick from Baz as much as he wants.
Baz is fucking in Harry Potter land. Don't worry about Baz. Baz is on the butterbeer. Yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to join us on Patreon if you haven't already. Why haven't you? It's great. Check Matt out on the Blue Room. That's good too. Believe the quality. It's
amazing. It's amazing.
I believe the quality's dropped recently. Not saying anything. Yeah, and
if you listen next Tuesday, then
if you're in international, if you're in an international view, don't forget you've got free shipping on Everton Direct. If you go through one of the links on toffeetv.net, you'll help us out, you'll help yourself out, and you'll help the club out. And if you're in America and you're walking around in new purple kit with like Rooney on your back, people will be stopping you everywhere. You know this. Get it sorted. Americans or Australians or New Zealand, or we may even post to Antarctica, but I can't confirm that. I'm just saying.
What, Everton, Chile? Have we got any fans from Chile?
I don't know. If you're from Chile, let me know.
That'd be amazing.
There you go. It would.
I'd love to go to Chile.
There you go. Yeah, okay. Not on my list at the moment, but there you have it. Thanks for watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.